but I'm not complaining. I'm not
Oh,
complaining about the heat because it's lovely weather.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're not complaining about the heat out there. Today was a bit cold actually for me. A little
Really?
bit. Yeah, just a tiny bit. And I thought it was just me. But my brother-in-law said the same thing. He came to the house this morning and he said, "Oh, it feels a bit cold today." I thought, "Oh,
Oh
yeah."
wow.
So it's not just me then. It might have picked up by now, but it was just we just had a little bit of I frozen out.
Yeah, you have frozen. Yeah,
I frozen out, and I you can
I
still
still hear
hear me.
you though. I still hear you.
Oh, anyway, I think we'll just make a start anyway, and I look handsome
Okay.
that way, actually. I, I think I look more handsome frozen out.
Well, some may say that, but your hand is covering much of your face. And some may say that's better as well. I can't see if you're laughing or not.
I
Can you
know.
hear me? Ah, you're back.
I'm back now. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Ah, all the expressions.
You're back.
I think it's
Big
trying to
smile
catch
there.
up. It's
Good
trying to
man.
catch up. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't picking my nose when it was frozen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
catching up because it's what was frozen, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah,
Are
I
you
think it's back to
you're
normal now.
live? You're live now. Good. Your mouth matches what I hear. That's good.
Right. Okay. Do you want to do the opening introduction for us, please, bro?
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Alien Spaceship once again, our Wednesday afternoon podcast. I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me Bruv.
And I'm Emmy Hickens, and he calls me Cuz. Welcome to the alien spaceship. Um, it's a very interesting topic. What we're going to discuss today, like you said. But I'll let you introduce it, please.
Yep. Okay. Well, I will introduce it in a moment. It's one of a number of things we're going to look at, but before then, I have to sort of fulfill a function that you may or may not know about. Now, under matrimonial law,
Right.
after 3 months,
Right.
I'm trying, I'm trying to keep serious here. After 3 months, a bridegroom is obliged to give, in brief terms, answers to a few questions to indicate the updated position of the post-marital situation between himself and his bride. So I've been asked to do that, to ask you just a few questions before we get going on our other discussions. And I would appreciate honest answers from you. The bridegroom of just over 3 months, I think it is now. A disclaimer, though, what I would have to say is that any dispute that may arise between you, the bridegroom, and your dear wife, Jeanette, as a result of these questions, uh, bear no responsibility on the part of myself, the questioner, or indeed the questions. So if it all goes pear shaped in the light of your answers, that's not my fault. Is that okay?
Right. Right.
Now they're not difficult questions. It's just an update on your nuptials, if you like, your post nuptials, your post wedding situation. Okay, number one, which of you takes longer to get ready?
You know what the answer to this one's going to be, innit? It's her. It's my wife. And I'm saying
Don't forget, Jeanette is probably watching, so you tell me week by week.
yeah, yeah, it's Jeanette, yeah.
Right.
And I know she will be watching it. I don't know whether she's watching it live, but I know she will be watching it. But yeah, it's her. It's not me. Yeah.
Okay. You're pretty quick, are you, when you get ready for things?
I am. I am. Yeah. So this is how it happens. So I go, say for instance, we're about to go out for the ministry. I'll say to her, right, okay, it's 8 o'clock. Gotta be there for 10 o'clock. She goes, yeah, 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 I know. And anyway, she then goes on Vinted and checks Vinted to see if she's ever bought something or sold something. I don't get it. I just don't get it. She's either selling something or buying something. She'll buy it and she'll go, I don't like it. And then go, but I'm going to sell it. And then sometimes she'll sell it for a profit and sometimes she won't. So I don't really get it because I don't think she's making any money from it. She begs to differ on that. So she goes, she'll go there and she'll probably spend about an hour on there. And I'm like, right, okay, so we're going to leave in like 15 minutes. So I'm still sat down there with my nighties and I'm just comfortable. So I'm comfortable on my phone or on a laptop. I'm just doing stuff. And then she'll go upstairs and it'll take ages. And she'll come down. She comes down and she's fully dressed. And she says, I'm ready. But she's not. So, so when she says, I'm ready, that's the cue for me to then go and get ready. So I go upstairs, put my trousers on, put a shirt on, whatever, a tie, whatever. I come downstairs and I'll go, right, are we leaving now? She goes, you ain't even got your shoes on. I say, I know, but are we ready? Because when I put on my shoes, I'm out of that door. And she goes, oh, all right, give me 5 minutes. See? So it's always a
Okay, well, you may have got yourself into some problem, some trouble there, cuz. Right, number two, who
yeah,
is more likely to forget important dates?
me.
You are.
Yeah, that is me all day. That is me all day because I don't even remember. I don't remember anything. I'm just sat there and I'm thinking, right, what's happening today? And she goes, right. So this person and that person. I'll be like, yeah, yeah. So they've invited us out. I'll be like, why didn't you tell me? I told you. I told you 3 weeks ago. I'll be like, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, you did mention. So yeah, that's me.
So you forget quite easily.
I do
I-
forget quite easy.
Is it better to text during the day or talk everything through at night?
I think it's better to text during the day because if you keep everything to then talk about everything at night, it creates a problem for me because she then at 10 p.m. when I'm trying to settle. So I'm either sitting down, I've got BBC News on or ITV, or I'm watching football as it is.
Not overpowering sense of heat, but
As it is these days. And I'm sat there. Um, sorry for that feedback. And then and that's when she wants to talk. So I'm watching France Spain match. And then she goes, right, so what we're gonna do about this and that and that and that. And I'm like, okay. And she never talks to you with the telly on. She'll go, can you post the telly?
there's a reason for that, I'm sure.
So I
Okay,
can't even.
I'll move along from that one because you
Right,
seem to be
okay.
you're digging a bit of a hole for yourself, I think. Is
Well,
sharing passwords a sign of trust?
right, sharing passwords is a sign of trust.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any of her passwords, and I don't think she has any of my passwords.
Would you
And
share them with her? Would you share them?
I I would gladly even share my phone with her because quite frankly, she knows everything about me. She knows every single detail about me. She even does my appointments for me, and she'd be like, right, so the doctor's appointment for this and that and that. I'd be like, yeah. She'd be like, well, I changed it for you, or I managed to get you an appointment. So, she has to have everything to do that. She, and I feel like it's a way. So I'll never be on the phone and she'll be like, who's that on the phone? She never asks because she knows. She
Mm.
knows because I'll put it on speakerphone or whatever, and I talk loudly. I do talk loudly. So she'd sort of gather who it is. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, is it?" But there are um, one of the reasons why I don't think she would actually touch my phone would be the fact that there are things that are confidential that has to do with other people as a minister of religion, as you know, and that, she would respect that bit.
Yeah.
So there are certain questions she won't ask me. Like I might be talking to somebody, and if I come off the phone, depending on the expression on my face, she don't want to know what the conversation is about. She probably gather who it is, but she wouldn't want to know what the conversation is about. And so there are apps on my phone that has to do with, things that elders will talk about. That is not general knowledge. And then as such, she wouldn't want to touch my phone for that reason. Or certainly go into, looking at my messages, because then if she finds out, she might not be able to keep it to herself, and that then betrays the
Mm.
confidentiality of other people. So for that reason, but she knows that there's nothing I can hide from her. She knows that, so she doesn't bother about that. If the reverse was the case, I don't really touch her phone because it's so old and it's an Android. And I keep begging her, I keep saying to her, I've got this iPhone here, just use it. She'll be like, no, I don't understand iPhone. I love this one because I know where everything is. I'm like, but it's too old, so I wouldn't even know my way around her phone.
No,
So that's why
no.
that's why it's what I'm touching her phone.
But do you think that? I mean, that's good to hear all that. But I'm sure, and I wonder whether you agree that the mobile phone, has has been the source of so many arguments, disputes, disagreements. Not to say divorces, probably, because people sometimes do get a little bit suspicious. Why is my partner keep texting, or the WhatsApp noise keeps coming through, whatever, any notifications. Would you say that's true? It's great when everything is fine and that people trust each other, but inevitably people do get suspicious sometimes in a relationship, and then the phone can be a downward spiral. I mean, do you think that's true?
Yeah, the phone can only be a downward spiral or an object of creating suspicion or creating,
Yeah.
a friction between couples only if you give them a reason to. You have to give them a reason to. You have to give somebody a reason to to want to check up on some things, because women, their curiosity does get the better part of them. So if you start hiding stuff, if you start wanting to not be open about stuff. Say, for instance, a message comes into your phone dings, and you take the message and you act suspiciously, then it becomes a problem. But if you pick up your message and you go, oh, I say it's her again or it's him again, it's just wanting to know what time, So that creates that openness, don't it? But if
Mm.
you start being too attached to your phone, I have two phones. One of them don't have a SIM. The other one has a SIM. Though I just replicated the apps because I do a lot on the internet, on social media. I would check up certain things, and if one of them died, then I'm in sort of a blackout then. So I have a power bank with me, and when I go to the
Mm.
toilet, I take both phones with me. It's never been an it's
Do you really?
I do. And I go to the toilet, I take both phones in me. So if I'm bored, because I don't know what's happened to me, bruv, but I seem to have got to a stage in my life where I have to have something going on in my head. If I don't have anything going on in my head, the world feels so empty. So if I'm not doing anything at all, say for instance, I'm suffering from a burnout, from working too much on my phone and computer combined, I would then play games on my phone. So she
Mm,
knows what I'm doing. At any given time, she knows what I'm doing. So I'm sat down. She could be sat across the couch and I'm doing something on my phone. She goes, "Oh, is that you playing the game again?" I'll be like, "Yep." So she knows. Um, so yeah, you could make it. I think you could create that suspicion where it then starts to become an issue.
mm,
Or you could just be open. And being open means actually being honest, not trying to hide anything from, your partners or anything. I think the only things that I would try to not disclose, and I know she's watching it, so it's pointless, but the only things that I would try to not disclose is how much I actually have in total at any given time. That's very dangerous for me because my wife has a tendency for buying shoes. Uh, she has a tendency for buying shoes and just shopping. She loves shopping. And so if there's money just there, she wants to use it. She wants to use it. And so for me, I would not lie to her, but I would say, well, I'm not showing you this, or I'm not giving you access to this because I know what you like. She wants to book a day away, she wants to book a week away, she wants to book 3 days, 3 weekends away, and I'm thinking, we don't have, we're not Richard Branson, or is it, the millionaire. That's not who we are. So, so that I don't know if any other men have that sort of thing in their relationship. But yeah, you have to be open. You cannot afford to try to hide things. That's where the suspicion starts.
mm.
Once you're open, I don't see any need for you to fear, you know.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
answer. I would only say this, and I'm not trying to put suspicious thoughts into Jeanette's mind, but
No.
many people would say if somebody has two phones
Yeah.
and they always take them both to the loo,
Yeah.
then that's hiding something.
Well,
Uh, See, I might have put a thought in Jeanette's mind there. That's not my intention. I did
yeah.
say at the beginning, any arguments that come out of this are not my fault, so don't forget that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, taking a phone in, I totally understand. I tend to do a crossword sometimes in that situation. But to take both of your phones in, I'm just saying in some relationships, obviously
Yeah.
not in yours, but some partners would say, well, hang on a minute, why you say it's only for this or that, but why do you need two phones? Why are you taking both your phones in there? Are you worried I might look at one? So I'm just saying that that's what
Yeah.
some people, that could create suspicion, couldn't it?
Well, not in my case. Not in my case. And
Not
I
in
say
your
that
case, no, no.
no, no, and I say that so confidently because the toilet door, even though it has a lock on it, I don't use it. So she could easily walk in. I don't, I don't,
I think we
I
ought to
don't-
stop that conversation there, Cuz, because it's getting a bit too intimate for me. Okay, well, we talked a bit about money there. So,
yeah.
next question, and we talked about phones. Who is more likely to check their phone first thing in the morning?
I think it's my wife.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, I think it's my wife because, like I said, she does sell things on this social media. So she wants to
yeah.
see who's bought what and how much they've bought it for, and she gets excited by things like that. So that's why I would say, it's her.
Yeah.
And the other reason why I would say it's her is because she's always up before I do. Um, she's up by 5. She's on BBC News going, "Oh,
Wow.
have you seen this? Have you seen that?" I'm like, "It's 4 o'clock." I'm trying, I'm like,
you're, you're
it,
clearly very well matched. What, what time?
yeah,
What time do you roll out of bed? About
you could
nine
say
o'clock, I
that.
suppose.
Well, I do about 7, 8, about that. but not that early, not 4 or 5 a.m. Yeah. So yeah, it's her. It's her. Just
I think I am stirring up a hornet's nest.
no, you're not.
When you get home later on, Jeanette will say to you, why do you take two phones into the toilet? You see, I've really stirred something
I,
unintentionally.
I,
Okay,
I
the
don't.
last one of these before
Yeah,
we move on
go
is
on.
eating from the same plate cute or annoying?
Right, eating from the same plate. I don't.
Hmm.
Uh, I think she'll do that to annoy you. She'll do that. She'll just do that to annoy you. But I don't think she won't even drink from the same bottle with me. She won't drink with the same from the same bowl with me. She'll be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's got your germs on it. It's got your germs around it." Uh, so I don't see her eating from the same plate, unless she's
So
trying to meet.
you
Yeah, go
wouldn't
on.
sort of eat one banana between you. You both start from the other end, and you meet in the middle with a kiss. You wouldn't be up for that, I suppose.
Oh, I tell you, I can tell you that right now. She would never, ever do that. She'd never. She's so scared of germs. She'd be like, "Oh, it's got your. Have you, have you? Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and get my own. I'm gonna go and get my own. So I don't ever see that happening in a million years.
Not even romantically.
She won. She won. It's just the germs. She thinks people carry. She thinks everyone's carrying kilo germs.
Well, we do, don't we, really? We all do. We're walking germs, really. Well done. You've passed the test. I hope you're in for a pleasant reception when you get home later on. So
Well,
now on to what we were going to talk about. So I'll pose the question to you first of all. Do you
right.
think that humans are inherently good or inherently bad? Or a mixture of both, I suppose?
Right. I think humans are inherently bad. And I have reasons to back that up. I think humans are inherently bad. When we think about ourselves as humans, right? This there's got to be an education. There's got to be a form of education. I was reading a few years back, and I say a few years back, I can't judge precisely. It could have been 20, yeah, but a few years back would be more appropriate. Now, a few years back, there was a guy, a family that was arrested for neglect. And I think the boy was about 5 year old and he could not speak like humans. And that was because he was raised in a farm. He was locked in a cage with poultry birds, chickens and hens and stuff. And his speech was his speech did not develop. So he didn't develop like a speech like human speech, and he spoke like the animals that he was raised with. I think there was a documentary about it, and it just tells you that whatever, however you're raised, would influence how you behave. It's just a common truth. Now, you might say, oh, yeah, some people are raised by, parents that abused alcohol and they turned out fine. Yeah, but there was some sort of education from the community or or even the bad consequences of what the child witnessed must have told the child, listen, you don't want to go down that same route. So whether it's an indirect kind of education or a direct form of education, it is needed. If you don't have it, you will end up behaving badly, and that's putting it nicely.
Mm. Okay, so what are you saying there then? That's one example of people, parents, whatever they were, behaving abominably. but that surely that doesn't tar the whole of humankind on our question: are humans inherently good or bad? I mean, are you saying that for that reason alone, or that example alone, we are all inherently bad? Is that your point?
No, no, you cannot base it solely on, the one evidence or
Hmm.
one case study, as they say. But what I'm saying is, if a human is brought up in a certain environment and that environment doesn't change, they will inherently behave or tend to behave in conformity with the setting in that environment. So, so humans are, because we're not perfect, right? And when you think about the inclination of the heart of a man, it's bad. It's just bad. Unless you tell that man how to behave otherwise, they will behave in the way that their heart is inclined them to. And so, we are inherently bad. We are.
Yeah, but most of us, I guess, are brought up in circumstances where we are taught right from wrong. We do have a kind of a moral background. I'm not saying our upbringings are perfect; they're certainly not. But I mean, in answer to the question, are you suggesting that all of us really start life inherently bad, that the bad side dominates any good potential we have? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes, that's what I'm
Really?
saying. Yeah, what I'm saying is every single one of us inherently started life as a baby being that way inclined. It's the way that we're taught, the way that we're trained, the environment that we grow up in that determines whether well, it doesn't, it only determines to such a really small extent, right? Because you can have somebody that is brought up in a Christian home, God-fearing and everything, and they turn out to do to commit heinous crimes, even murder. Some we've seen instances of people that are brought up in a good home, um, you know, then going on to do heinous things. But the majority of the people that are brought up in a good home will behave well. The majority of people that are brought up in a bad or under a bad influence will tend to, behave badly, unless, of course, they then have the opportunity to, come in contact with somebody that could help them live their lives otherwise.
Do you think that basically all of us have the capacity, morally, intellectually, or whatever else, to be both, to be inherently good, that we can, there's a goodness about some of our actions and what we are, and we've got a potential maybe for the bad side. We don't always look for the best in people or whatever. Isn't it really about, yeah, we all come onto this planet formed as we are in humankind, and we're brought up in various ways, but there's a lot of good people about, there's some bad people about. And is it not true, in a sense, that whatever side of that we say, well, that tends to be the dominant part of humanity, that can be confirmation bias in us, can't it? Where so much of the news, if we ever watch the news or read the news, is about negative things. It wouldn't be news otherwise, whereas comparatively little of the good news that could be put out there is put out there. So by dominating on the negatives in society, that can give us confirmation bias, confirming what we really think, that most people are bad. If that's what you're saying, that you think most people are bad, I'm not sure you are saying that. Whereas if we were to think about some of the good things that people do, everybody, all of us do some good things sometimes, then that, if that's one's instincts, inclination, that actually most people are broadly decent, then that we've got a confirmation bias of that. I think, is it not a little bit sad, really, that you might go through life with kind of an assumption or a belief that, yeah, most people are out for what they can get, and many people believe that, and sometimes it's obviously true in some ways, but
Mm.
most people are negative on below the line, whereas the people above the line, there's not too many of them, and they don't certainly dominate. And I wonder if is that your view, that you see most folk as being below the line of decency?
Well, when you look at the all right, so let's take food for example, right? We have people that are obese. We have people that are moderately overweight. And we have people that are morbidly obese. Right? Now you could look at somebody that's morbidly obese and you could say to them, can you not just stop eating? Just stop eating.
So would you just go up to somebody and say that then? Are you saying that
No, no,
in a perfect
no,
world, that's what people should do?
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
No.
saying is you could think that way, couldn't you? You could think, well, if only you just stop eating, you'll be all right. You just need to, be selective in your or make a dietary plan for yourself, and just follow it. It's easy, isn't it? But that person doesn't have the willpower. They don't have the willpower. Now, we don't know why. It could be as a result of or, an emotional imbalance. Somebody lose some. You might have somebody, a family member that you love so much, maybe your grandma, and all of a sudden this person passes. You're not ready for it. It could tip that person from being somebody that eats normal, looks after themselves, to somebody that's now morbidly obese. We don't know. Or we could have somebody that's grown up in a household where, there's food, junk food is readily available. You only need to go to the kitchen, open the cupboard, and there's biscuits falling out here. Or you can open the fridge and there's tubs of ice cream there, just, different, all sorts of, and you can't control yourself. And it happens with alcoholism as well, where people have had to physically not put themselves in an environment where there's alcohol. They think
Mm.
pub, I don't go to the pub. Some people won't even walk past the pub for fear. They might just want to go in for one drink and then another one. Now you and I can go into a pub, have a drink, and even if they're serving free drinks all night, at some point you might have one pint and a half and you think, no, I know it's free. I don't have to pay for it, but I still don't want it. But the other man walks in there, free drink. Whoa, it doesn't even have to be drink. It doesn't even have to be free. He'll use his last penny to get that drink. Now that tells us something, doesn't it? That, there's something wrong. One human, on one hand, has absolute control. The other one has no self-control, right? Now his self-control might not be harming anyone, but he's still harming himself. He still doesn't have self-control. So when we talk about human instinct and what you know, now there are ones that will be able to control it. It's just like pets. So you can have pets in the house, and you could have three pets, and one of them is totally different. You could teach this pet, and they could understand you. You can go fetch me a beer from the fridge, and they'll go. You know, they might not know how to open the fridge, but they know what you said. And the others are looking at him, going, "What's he doing?" So yeah, there are exceptions to the rule, but generally we're all that way. We we're all inherently bad. We work on it on ourselves.
Mm.
Whatever it takes, we don't know, but we work on it and we're able to conquer it. And for some other people, they're not. And for some of the people, there's like there are consequences where, they then, go overboard and kill somebody else or kill themselves. We don't know. But we're not good people. We practice goodness. And that's what makes us different. You
Mm,
and I can look at, like I said, we can look at a free drink being served all day. We can look at a free chicken or a free of our favorite food being served all day. We're only going to eat what we can. And we say to ourselves, you know what? No, I'm not having any more of that. But there are other things, like you could have somebody that has absolute control over food, but they don't have absolute control over drugs or cigarette. They could smoke 40 cigarettes a day. You offer them unlimited alcohol. They say no. So it's
mm,
different. And so inherently, we are fallible to some things in life.
yeah.
If we recognize it on time and we work on it, we become better people. If we don't, it's just the way it is.
Okay. I mean, it sort of touches on about how we relate to each other as well, whether we maybe look at others disparagingly and say, well, they are morbidly obese or they're always drunk. And it's easy to make a judgment without knowing as the circumstances. As you've said, some people will
Mm.
be weak-willed when it comes to smoking, others will be very against smoking. And so we
Mm.
don't know people's circumstances, do we? And
No, we
so
don't.
that brings me to my next point, really. There's a drug that increases empathy between people. In other words, we feel their pain in a much more caring way. Would it be moral to lace the water supply with that drug?
Yeah, okay. This is about free will, isn't it? Somehow it's about free will. Now, if you can't make everybody the same, can you? And
No.
that's where the problem of the world came from because we try to say, right, you should do this, you should listen to this, you should do what I'm doing, you should become like me. I'm a doctor, I have a family, you should have a family because it's nice. I find joy from my children and my wife, and that man is going, no, it's not for me. You know, we are allowed to be different. We are allowed to be different. That's how we're created. We're created to, want our own freedom, to be able to have that thing called free will. You take away the free will, right? And we are more or less robots. So
Mm-hmm.
lacing the water supply with empathy is a good thing, but then it's encroaching on the rights of others to be able to choose freely, isn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose it touches on genetic modification. We think that there's some of our food is genetically modified. Not too much, I think, in this country, but it is still the case sometimes. Now, if scientists, and we've sort of touched on this before, but in the light of what we've just been saying about placing the water supply, if scientists could genetically modify a new child, whereby they could eradicate certain genes there which are prone to violence or criminality, and they can often identify they can identify lots of genes within somebody. For
Mm,
example, the Down syndrome. They know that that can be picked up by various scans and tests, obviously. And thankfully, a lot of people who have a Down syndrome baby, they go through with it and they produce lovely children and
mm.
lovely people. Most often they do. Um, so if scientists, if that develops a bit, this idea of genetically modifying, our makeup, our constitution, so that the baby, when it's born, doesn't have criminal tendencies, doesn't have um, a violent side, anything really that can be viewed or predicted as possibly negative, that can be done away with. Now, do you think that's a path that we, as humans, should we follow that path? Because to come back to your point, in one way, you kind of would be making us all, they'd be making us new babies robots, they won't be able to behave in certain ways, albeit negative ways. But
Mm.
wouldn't it be better to have a crime-free society, crime-free societies around the world where people don't get beaten up and killed? And on that point, maybe we just for a moment think of poor Anne Widdecombe, who's been mercilessly murdered,
Wow.
through whatever motives, through
Mm.
some very bad inclinations of whoever did it. So,
Mm.
yeah, would it not be better to have genetic engineering of our genes if that kind of thing can be stopped?
Wow. I say, you make a good point, actually. You make a good point. The only flaw with that would be that it takes away the vital element that makes us human beings. That's just the only thing. Everything
Mm.
else is fine, but it's just that it takes away that vital element of what makes us unique, of what makes us different from animals, of what makes us different from a computerized program, whatever, inanimate things, call it that. And that is serious. That is very, very serious because mm, the, you can't successfully do it.
No.
And whoever is in charge, would he do it for himself? Would he want his freedom taken away? If I was in charge of it, of making all of our humans compliant, as you say, would I want to be compliant? I don't think so. I don't think I would want to be compliant. And I would want to sort of manipulate that system to suit me. I'd,
Mm.
so there's still a problem there, isn't it? It's still a big problem.
Because of motivation, you think.
Yeah.
So
And so
let me ask you perhaps one, given the time, look, one final question on this. Do you
right.
think that society values human success, however we define that, more than human kindness?
That's a very good one. Does society value human success and human kindness? Yeah, the obvious answer, which would be the correct answer, would be no. The society does not value human kindness over human success. It's the other way around. The more successful you are, the more people want to be around you. The more kind you are, the more people want to take advantage of you. So, it's
That's quite a statement you just made there, isn't it? The kinder you are, the more people want to take advantage of you. I mean, some people you would have to qualify that. Not everybody
yeah,
would
not everybody.
want to
No.
take advantage, but
Yeah.
some would, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So this is all we've got time for on this show. Very interesting topic there. Makes you think, don't it? I was almost conforming to bruv CIA tactics. Drink this water and you'll be kind always.
I was about to give you all the right answers there, cousin. You did after your after your comments, but no, you spoke very well, if I may say.
Yeah.
You spoke very well.
All right, so this is what we got time for on the alien spaceship. Join us again next week as we bring you yet another interesting topic on the alien spaceship. I've been Emmy Hickins, and he calls me bruv. He calls me cuz.
I call you Cuz, but I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv.
Yeah, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me too. Bye bye.